Welcome to the deep dive. I'm really glad you could join us today. You're basically our guest host for this. We're putting on the networking hat, ready for a deep dive. Our goal to pull out those real gold nuggets, the stuff that can really change how you connect with people. So, our mission today is to dig into Mel Kaufman's life's work. We're looking for those powerful, actionable strategies. And specifically, today we're focusing on what Mel calls miracle number 19. It's all about conversation control, ask, don't tell.
That's exactly it. And miracle number 19, it's not just some, catchy phrase. It's a real fundamental shift. A big one, actually. The core idea, like Mel lays it out, is simple, but honestly, it's got huge impact. You start every single conversation, every exchange with a question. It's about being proactive, not reactive, right from the get-go.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit because for a lot of people, right, especially folks who've worked hard on their elevator pitch, starting with a question, it might feel like you're giving up control or letting the other person lead. It almost feels backwards, doesn't it?
Yeah, I get why it feels that way, but Mel argues it's actually the complete opposite. He really hammers this point home.
Yeah.
When you kick off an exchange with a question, you are, right then and there, in control.
In control. How so?
Because you're not just opening the door, you're directing where the conversation goes. It's strategic. By asking, you steer the information flow. You guide it towards exactly what you need to find out.
Yeah.
So the question isn't just like being polite. It's a tool, a strategic tool for directing information.
Okay.
That's really the first gold nugget takeaway here.
Yeah.
The question is your strategic rudder.
A strategic rudder. I like that framing. It makes a lot more sense that way.
Right.
But let's make it super practical. For you listening right now, wanting to use this immediately, give us an example. Mel uses everyday stuff, right? Say you want to know about, I don't know, the ball game last night. How do you apply ask, don't tell there effectively?
Good question. So instead of the usual, did you see the game, which often just gets a yes or no.
Right, shuts it down.
Exactly. Mel would suggest something more like, what was the most exciting play of the game last night? Or maybe what was the biggest surprise from the game? See,
yeah.
It directly asks for specifics, for quality information. It invites a story, opens things up instead of closing them. You're guiding the chat that follows.
I see. So you're giving them space to share something interesting, not just confirm they watched it. Now, what about something more maybe professional, like figuring out if someone could be a valuable link, as Mel puts it? He talks about the clusters in his work. How does that fit in? That sounds a bit more advanced.
Absolutely. And that's where this asking strategy really shows its power. Mel's idea of the clusters is, well, it's pretty insightful. He basically says, don't look at a network or even a room as just one big group. Think of it as different groups based on themes or industries, clusters.
Okay, like different zones?
Sort of. You might have a startup cluster or a fintech cluster or maybe a marketing cluster. Once you identify these, even roughly, you can tailor your opening question with real precision.
So instead of just, what do you do, which is so generic.
Right. You might ask someone you think is in, say, this startup cluster, something like, what's the biggest challenge people overlook for early-stage founders in your field right now?
Wow. Okay, so you're already guessing their area and asking something specific within that?
Exactly. You're showing you've thought about their world, which builds rapport instantly. Plus, it signals you're not just there to talk at them. It proves you're a thoughtful connector. It's all about being intentional, not just reacting.
That really clicks.
Yeah.
And it leads us right into the next really critical piece Mel emphasizes. This is where it gets really interesting for effective networking. Mel Kaufman's life's work states it pretty bluntly. Never enter an event without a prepared game plan. Now, for some, networking feels spontaneous, right? Just go with the flow. Why is this preparation step so vital? Can't you just wing it?
Well, Mel's warning here is pretty stark. He says, and I'm quoting loosely here, if you wait until you're shaking someone's hand to figure out your plan, the game's already over.
Yeah.
It just highlights how crucial being proactive is. Real networking isn't about luck, about bumping into the right person. It's about planning beforehand, knowing your goals, and crucially, preparing the questions that get you there. Without that plan, you're just drifting, reacting. You'll miss things because you haven't actually thought about what you need. Pre-planning your questions, it gives you a huge edge, almost an unfair advantage, you could say.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that's our second big gold nugget. Preparation is the prerequisite for powerful connections.
Underscores that intentionality again. So for someone listening, what's a super practical, immediate way to put this into action? before their next event, or maybe even just a key meeting?
Okay, simple action step. Before you go to any event, any meeting, even just a coffee chat where you might meet someone new, take 5, maybe 10 minutes. Seriously.
Don't just show up.
Exactly. Think, what are 2 or 3 key things I'd ideally like to learn? Insights, opportunities, challenges people are facing, whatever. Then, for each of those things, craft 1 or 2 open-ended questions. Not just icebreakers, but real tools designed to get you that information.
So you're defining your intel targets before you even walk in the door. It's almost like a mission briefing.
It kind of is. And remember what Mel Kaufman's life's work says. Every network event begins with a question and ends with information. Framing it like that, it shifts networking from just, casual chat, which can often go nowhere.
Yeah, aimless small talk.
Right. Into a purposeful exchange. You're building bridges to knowledge, to opportunity. You're making every interaction count.
It sounds simple, but it's actually really profound when you think about it. That core mantra from Mel, ask, don't tell. Just flipping that mindset, right? From feeling like you have to broadcast everything about yourself first to seeking to understand the other person first. That changes the whole feel of the interaction, doesn't it?
It fundamentally changes everything. And, Mel has this really intriguing, almost provocative line about this. He says, this little miracle may be hazardous to your indigence.
Hazardous to your indigence. What does he mean by indigence there? It's not like financial poverty, right?
No, not at all. In Mel's context, indigence means being information poor or being sort of passively disempowered in a conversation.
Okay, like lacking knowledge or influence in that moment.
Precisely. What he's getting at is that actually doing miracle number 19, leading with a question, it might feel uncomfortable. It might feel hazardous to your usual way of doing things. Most people's instinct is to tell, right?
Yeah, to establish credibility or sell yourself.
Exactly. That's the comfort zone. But Mel argues that telling first actually puts you on the back foot. You're waiting for them to ask you the right thing. You're dependent. And that dependency, that's a form of indigence. You lack control over the information flow.
So the hazard is really to that comfortable habit, that passive tell-first mode. And asking, even if it feels weird initially, breaks you out of that.
That's it, exactly. By pushing through that discomfort, by leading with the ask, you shift. You move from that passive, information-poor state where you lack influence because you're waiting to a position of proactive control and knowledge gathering.
You gain the advantage?
An immense advantage because you're mastering the flow of information. You stop being just a talker or just a listener and become an orchestrator of a meaningful exchange. And that, Mel says, is where real influence starts. You empower them to share, which builds way stronger connections. So maybe the third gold nugget is embrace the discomfort of asking. It's the pathway out of information indigence.
Wow. This has been such a transformative deep dive into Mel Kaufman's life's work today. Some really powerful stuff. Simple ideas on the surface maybe, but they can totally reshape how you approach not just networking, but pretty much any conversation. Let's do a quick recap of those gold nuggets. First, the power of starting every chat with a question puts you in control.
Steering the conversation.
Second, that absolute need for a game plan before you go in. Preparation is everything. No more winging it.
Critically important.
And third, that simple but deep mantra, ask, don't tell. Moving from information indigence to knowledge and influence.
And these aren't just theories, right?
Yeah.
You can use these immediately. Just making those small shifts, starting with a question, doing that bit of prep, can massively boost your networking. You go from just chatting to actually gathering intelligence, building real influence.
Absolutely. And if you listening found real value in these nuggets today, and I hope you did, there's more for you. We've got a bonus content workbook put together, and there's also a free app. All the details, the download links, they're right there in the video description below. Please go grab them. They'll help you really practice this stuff, make it second nature. And also, we really want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell us about your experiences using these Miracle Number 19 ideas. Any wins? We love hearing how this helps you.
Definitely. And, to really let this sink in, make it part of how you operate, I'd suggest listening to this deep dive again. Maybe listen tomorrow, then again next week, maybe next month. Each time, you'll probably hear something new. A different nugget will stand out based on your own experiences.
That's a great point. It's like peeling an onion, right? More layers reveal themselves. And hey, if this was valuable for you, share it. Share it with your networking circle, your colleagues, anyone who could benefit. Helping others grow their influence, it actually helps you solidify your own understanding, too. It's a real win-win.
It truly is.
So make sure you do click like, subscribe, and definitely hit that notification bell. That way, you'll know right away when Mel's next gold nugget drops and our next deep dive is ready. Okay, that's it for today. Now go put on your networking hat and grow your business.